Kia was originally founded in 1944 in Korea and initially began making bicycles. And today, Kia is the second largest automaker in South Korea behind Hyundai. Now, when I grew up, Kia were for people who had absolutely no interest in cars, design, safety, or style. People who wanted a cheap way to go from point A to point B, but at the same time did not want to take the bus. Today though, Kia is a completely different brand, a brand with some of the most innovative car designs on the road in my opinion, a brand for people who appreciate quality and reliability, a brand with a solidified brand identity, and this is thanks to mostly one person. We're going to talk more about this guy in just a minute. So what exactly happened? Well, let me show you. I want to show you this example right here. This is the Kia Rio, the evolution of the Kia Rio. So we're going to start with the Rio from 1987. This was also called the Pride, but is the predecessor to the Rio down here. And this in Sweden, when I was growing up, this was called the Death Box because of the safety issues in a crash impact. This technology goes back decades, but this was still in production up until the year 2000, which is nuts. You can see that this 87, it completely lacks any sort of identity. It's just a box with boxy headlight and boxy grille, boxy fog lights. You can't tell what brand this is. And this was also sold as a Ford Festiva here in the US. Going into 1999, this is, I would say, probably the definition of melted cheese. This is peak melted cheese era, the late 90s, early 2000s. You can see that here as well. And they're trying here to come up with some identity for their cars, but it's not really working out, is it? Because it looks very anonymous still, and everything is just melted all over this car. It's still a big step up from the 1987, obviously, but they're still lacking this identity that they're so desperately need. Before we go any further in the video, I have a pretty exciting announcement from today's sponsor, Omaze. Omaze launched with a mission to transform typical charity giving. They give people the chance to dream big and win once-in-a-lifetime prizes such as this awesome Hummer EV Edition 1. And I'm excited to be working with Omaze once again to offer you the chance to win this exact all-electric Hummer EV Edition 1 and at the same time support a great cause, Rebuilding Together. Part of what Rebuilding Together do is to address the long-term recoveries of communities struck by natural disasters, and this hits pretty close to home for me because we moved out of Florida right before the Hurricane Ian hit, which caused some serious damage to many of our friends' properties. Now, the Hummer EV is nothing less than a beast. Here's what you get. You get 1,000 horsepower, 11,500 pound-feet of torque, 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, a towing capacity of up to 7,500 pounds, 329 miles of range, and a retail price of around $112,500. Simply go to omaze.com/Bembly to enter for your chance to win. Again, for your chance to win this Hummer EV Edition 1, go to omaze.com/Bembly and enter now. Donations support the great work of Rebuilding Together, and thank you to Omaze for sponsoring this video. And then we come into 2006, and you can see that the Kia Rio has grown up a little bit here. It gets a little more serious in the front face. It's still a very friendly face, but the design takes a different approach, and they kept it more, I would say, conservative and not so crazy with the melted stuff like we have in the 99 model. Nothing in the front end or anywhere in the car that says this is a Kia. However, in 2007, Kia dropped a concept called the Kia Key concept, and this was a design by Peter Schreier. So he had just joined the company, I think it was in 2006, and he had designed, for example, the first generation Audi TT is one of his most famous designs and one of my favorite small two-door cars of all time. I think it's an iconic design that looks great today as well. And what he did when he came to Kia, his first assignment was from the board members or whoever his bosses were. They told him that you need to create a brand new identity for the entire brand of Kia. So what did he do? He obviously, as designers, we go to nature and we look for inspiration there. And what he found was the tiger nose. And then he took the tiger nose and applied that onto the nose of the Kias, the entire lineup. It started with the Kia key concept in 2007, and then it spread all across the lineup, creating a new era for Kia when it comes to design. You can see that here in the 2012 model. This is the first Kia Rio that has this tiger nose treatment in the front end. We have this part right here. You see these things that go in the middle at the top, and they also go in the bottom here in the middle, and this creates this solid, unique approach from a design standpoint for Kia. And from this point on, every single model of Kia has this implemented in one way or another. Today in modern cars, they're implemented in many different ways. I'm going to show you that in just a minute when we look at today's cars. And then you can see the last generation of the Kia Rio down here. This, I believe, is a 2017 model. And they say that the Rio is going to be discontinued after 2022, which I feel is pretty sad, because it feels like they're just starting to find its identity and they're starting to have fun with the design here now with the tiger nose. But they didn't stop innovating here, because what's going to replace this is the 2023 Kia Nero EV. And just look at what happened here. This is what I call innovative design. I've never seen a front fascia like this. You have the headlights in the bumper right here. You have a daytime running light LED going like this in a pretty, unique way. So it's definitely going to be recognizable both at daytime and in nighttime as well. But one thing about this new Nero is I can't really see where the tiger nose is designed in this specific car, which makes it pretty special to me, because up until this point, every single new Kia has the tiger nose design. It's probably hidden here somewhere, but it's very hard to tell where exactly the tiger nose is hiding in the Nero. But just have a look at this. I mean, look at from where they came in 1987 to where they are today with the Nero. It's such a complete transformation in the design philosophy of the cars, and I'm really happy to see that for Kia. So what I want to show you now is, let's move a little bit forward in the future. So this is early 2000, 99, 2002, stuff like that, models of Kia before they implemented the tiger nose design. So this is the era that I remember of Kia most, being very cheap and kind of copying other manufacturers. Just have a look at this 2005 Kia Opirus or Opirus, not sure how to pronounce it, but you can clearly see what this has been inspired by, and that is the E-Class of the time. We have a very unique, interesting, I wouldn't say attractive looking grille right here, but these headlights definitely inspired by the Mercedes E-Class of this time. Pretty shameless copy. This is still the era when they're trying to find their identity. So I wouldn't say that they had a very, congruent design language of this time. You can see that this looks completely different from the Sorento up here. I think this is a 2003 model. I don't think this looks bad, but it just looks super anonymous. It has zero identity still. There's nothing special going on in here, and it's still a very cheap car. And also this Sportage here, this is a 2006 Sportage. Same thing here, completely different design language than the Sorento. It's all over the place. And then we have this beauty, the 1999 Clarus, where it feels like they try to be brave. They said, okay, we're not going to copy designs, and we're not going to make them anonymous. We're going to try and find some identity in our cars. I have to say, I don't think it worked out for the 99 Clarus here. It still looks like very melted cheese. Now, looking at the new designs of Kia, this is insane for me to see how far Kia has come in just a decade. It's nuts. So this is the new Kia Soul, and I love this design. I think it looks really cool. And you can see that we have the tiger nose here in very different implementations, but it's still here in every single model. So in the Soul, for example, you have the tiger nose in this part right here, the bottom grille, you have these things going in a little bit in the grille, also going in a little bit in the bottom of the grille. So we have the tiger nose here, although it's not in this 2010 implementation that I showed you with these two designs, for example, where every Kia had it simply as a grille in between the headlights. Now they're more confident, and they're starting to play around with this tiger nose design and implement it in many different ways. Here we have the new Sportage, also a very unique design. I think this looks really cool, even though I can't seem to find any line flow in this. It still looks, I don't know if I would call it a beautiful design, but it's still very interesting. It's a car that I just want to continue to walk around and look at because of all the details and angles. We have the headlights still sort of in the bumper, and then we have this boomerang LED here, which also creates a very strong identity for this specific model. And the brand new 2023 facelifted Telluride. This is probably my favorite Kia design at the moment. I love how stately this looks, and you can see that the tiger nose is clearly implemented right here in the grille. You also have the tiger nose, which I forgot to mention, in the Sportage up here. So we have 3 different implementations of the tiger nose so far in 3 different models from the same model year. I can't leave out the EV6, which has a 4th implementation of the tiger nose. It's very hard to see where the tiger nose is here, but what Kia says themselves is that the tiger nose is implemented in the headlights right here, and then how this goes into the grille, that makes up the tiger nose design of the EV6. And this specifically from the rear looks like nothing else I've ever seen on the roads before. So to me, Kia is a great example, if not the greatest example, of how a car manufacturer can completely rebrand itself when they find their identity. And what's even more impressive is that they did all of this in a decade, and from the looks of their cars today, it feels like they're having a lot more confidence and a lot more fun designing their cars. They have the foundation of their identity, but they're starting to mold around it and see what angles they can pull this identity in, as I showed you in the 4 different front ends of the current Kia models. And I'm really excited to see where Kia takes it from here. Thanks again to Omaze for sponsoring this video. If you want a chance to win a Hummer EV, just click the link below in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.